Hi guys, and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the Staedtler Mars Lumograph 24 pencil set, and it's containing 20 Lumograph pencils ranging from 9H to 9B, and also 4 Lumograph black pencils ranging 2B, 4B, 6B and 9B. And just ignore the table. As for these pencils, they are packaged in a very sturdy and nice metal container, and there is a plastic tray for all the pencils with individual separators, so that's very nice. And as you can see, the lead size are different, and I'll just pop up a picture of the different sizes because I'm too lazy to mention all of them. But the barrel size is the same for the pencils, it's only the lead size. And on the outside of the box you can see the different degrees of the pencils in the set. So to begin with, I just started to swatch all the pencils myself, and I'm making a gradient from very hard pressure to just barely touching the paper. And this is just to get a feel of how the pencil feels on the paper myself. When I try a new pencil, I want it to be smooth on the paper, not scratchy. I want it to have an even laydown, and I want the pigment to show up nicely. A swatch like this really helps you with showing the range of colors from darkest to lightest, and thereby how high the contrast will be between your lightest and darkest pencil. Staedtler themselves says about these pencils: Mars Lumograph has a special lead formulation for results with a metallic luster in a wide variety of gray tones. That the 4 black pencils are a special lead formulation containing a high proportion of carbon for matte, jet black results. And that the pencils are unbelievably break resistant through special lead formulation and super bonded lead. Previously, Staedtler had only one set called the Mars Lumograph, and here some of the pencils, I think it was 7B and 8B, would be containing carbon. So what they did instead is they have created this range of graphite pencils, the blue ones, and they have separated the carbon pencils into the black ones. So for the black pencils that are containing carbon, what I noticed is that they are harder to blend and they are harder to erase. So you have to be aware of this when you're making your drawing. You don't want to put down the black pencils first if you want to be able to pick out highlights and blend very smoothly. You can go on and add them at the end, which is what I did in my hair drawing that I'll leave a card for. Because you can't really go back and pick out the highlights if you do it this way. And I also struggle with them being pretty gritty compared to the graphite pencils, but I'm certain that's because of the high carbon level. And here you can see I did a small eraser test where I tried erasing a selected few of the pencils using my Tombow mono eraser, my electric eraser from Derwent, and my regular Derwent eraser. And they all erased pretty well. As said, I was having some struggles with the black pencils as they are containing a higher level of carbon, and I also noticed that I had an easier time erasing some of the harder pencils compared to the softer pencils. The reason behind my choice of erasers are that those are the erasers I use in my normal drawings. As well as the paper I'm drawing on, it's the Fabriano artistico, extra wide hot pressed, blah blah blah, which is the paper I always use. You want to do your swatches and all your tests on the paper you're going to create your artwork on, because otherwise you don't really know how the pencil reacts and works on that specific paper. And some may say, oh, it's a waste of the good paper, but I think it's worth it in the end, compared to the results you get and the information about the pencils you get. For my blending test, I used a clean blending stump so it wasn't affected by any previous use. And here I just wanted to see how well it would blend the pencil strokes and how much pigment was actually movable, and thereby how well the edges between paper and graphite would be blended. And here the regular pencils blended very smooth and evenly, and the pigment actually was a decent amount of movable, and I was able to achieve a pretty smooth look. The carbon pencils were harder to blend and definitely not as movable as you'll see. It's definitely the most noticeable right around the edges of my hatching, that the carbon pencils are pretty stuck in their place, that you can blend, but the edges will be very visible, where the graphite pencils had a very smooth blend and a very nice transition from where there was no graphite at all to where there was graphite. You can see the edge when you started to blend. And here at the end I have a picture of the pencils with bits on my camera and one without. And here you'll see the amount of graphite shine that are in the Lumograph pencils and the lack of shine that there is in the black pencils, which is of course because of the carbon. A lot of artists dislikes having graphite shine, me included. So it's very nice to have this option of pencils that does not have this shine, where you don't have to go all the way over to using charcoal. My final take on this set of pencils is that it's a very nice set of pencils, especially when you take the price tag into consideration, as these pencils can be bought on Amazon for right around $30. It's a great set for beginners and artists that are professional alike. They blend pretty nicely, I would say. I was impressed by how well the graphite set erased. The lighter pencils, the 9H to 2H, I had some problems with grittiness, as well as did in the Mars Lumograph, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's not a deal breaker. So overall, I'm positively, what's the word? Overwhelmed? Impressed? I'm impressed. I'm impressed by these pencils. So I'm definitely keeping this set, and I'm going to keep it in my collection and make more art with it. And I recommend buying this set if you're looking for a nice set of graphite pencils and you don't like graphite shine. And that is pretty much it. Thank you for seeing this video, and I'll see you next time, I hope.